Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, I don't know if a lot of y'all seen it yet, but the viral video of the young brother, astaghfirullah, alhamdulillah, because I almost said, of course, it was in Philly. So I caught myself, but it was in Philly. And the young brother had an AR-15, big dumb gun. You know what I'm saying? And he came to the Eid to kill another Muslim. However, they was able to get the gun away from him, and the police and stuff was out there before he got a chance to shoot. People actually seen him, because the gun was so big you couldn't just hide it. So he was walking down the street looking for who it was that he wanted to kill. Young cat. And the police get him, they get the gun. So of course, because in the video, it's been shared, so sometimes you have to find like the original video or earlier videos and see the arguments and the comments. So when people started getting on, even some people from Philly that left and was saying how the Philly Muslims need to take some accountability for the behaviors and things that's going on. And so of course you had the ones who don't even know him at all, but they want to defend Philly and say, well, he wasn't Muslim. But he came to the Eid to kill some Muslim or Muslims. Not because he hated Islam. Because it's something they did. So you can't excuse that. Right? Then you had other ones who knew him, and some was saying that he was Muslim, and was saying that he was on some get back from what happened at the Eid last year, when a young guy and his girl, and they was together, and they actually shot the Eid up, and I think they shot like an older person. I don't think anybody died, but they actually shot a couple of people. But you should have seen the arguments in the comments. And it just made me think, and just looking from like people who've been around long enough and just seeing this climate brewing to where it is what it is now. And that's what people mean by people need to start taking responsibility up there, because they created the environment and the atmosphere to start killing each other. And it started with what masjid you go to, what colors do you wear, who do you listen to, your masjid off it, and then it led to fights over it, shootings over it, the shooting at the funeral. Then they started, well, the dude getting jumped and getting his jaw broke at the funeral. This led to people getting killed at the masjid. And I remember back all the way back to like maybe 2017. And around some of the time when I was lightweight going to Philly on a regular. But every year during the Eid, at a particular Salafi Eid where it was a lot of people, fights broke out every single year. And it's 2 Eids per year. So both Eids, fights broke out every year. Now them fights in the last couple of years have turned to shootings. You know? So by the way that this atmosphere was created and what's going on, and then the measures that people had to take, like I was watching the brother from Germantown talking about how they done basically had to get a building this year. They wasn't gonna have to eat outside. They had to get a building, and he was making it known that when you come in, everybody got to go through metal detectors. You got to get tested for guns and knives and weapons for the Eid. Imagine that, man. So they having it in the building because of, fights and shootings and stuff that keep going on at the Eids. So now this year they had it in a building where people got to walk through a metal detector. And although we do ignorant stuff and we kill each other for the smallest things, but sometimes it don't be over nothing. These people be done killed somebody else, they be done did something, and they be wanting revenge. A person walking around down the street with police, Muslims, a whole crowd with an AR-15 out, that's a person who was mad. Okay? And whoever he was looking for you to risk your freedom and crash out like that, whoever you was looking for did something. And just because they Muslim, we can't keep acting like they ain't did nothing to other people. Not saying they deserve to die, but when this is the culture, people need to use some precautions and try to bring this stuff down to a minimum, man. And that's why a lot of my message be this form of Islam that's being promoted to the black community. This gang version, this cool smoking marijuana, pill popping, drinking, fornicating type of version of Islam that's being promoted. And then you got these older Muslims, like it blow my mind to see Muslims 60 years old, 50, in their 50s, 45, in their 40s, late 40s, seeing these little young Muslims, man, that's 25, early 30s, early 20s, teenagers, still trying to have some type of gang culture and pill popping and this and that, and they coming to the deen and be a Muslim. And these old heads just sitting around like, alhamdulillah, we just got some more Muslims to the community, but we don't care what they do. We not going to try to change them. But then, how y'all going to feel when y'all could have did something, and now one of these idiots, man, and I'm going to call him an idiot, come up to the masjid trying to shoot another Muslim all in the masjid while they're Muslim. Over, they done stole a pack of pills, or they was shooting dice and one of them had trick dice and got away from him, so he know he could catch them at Jumar or at the Eid. Or he done robbed their cousin and shot somebody, so now they coming to catch him at the Eid. But you had these older Muslims who can't even give them no guidance and don't even try. Oh man, alhamdulillah, they Muslim, man, that's between them and Allah. I ain't gonna, I just want to talk to them, but I ain't gonna talk to them about all that drinking and smoking and pill popping. I just don't mention none of that. It's like I ain't gonna say that, but it's just unfortunate. Alhamdulillah, he didn't get a chance to kill somebody, but just imagine that a day done came where the Muslims have to get a building for the Eid intentionally, just so that the people who come in have to go through metal detectors who are other Muslims, so that they can't sneak a weapon in there and kill other Muslims at the Eid. Or knowing that you're going to have your Eid outside, so now y'all have to hire armed security and police. I done seen a couple of Eids where they had people with masks on their face, tactical military gear, and long, big, dumb rifles out to secure the Eids. And this is the crazy part. It's not geared towards people that don't like Islam and want to do something to the Muslims. It's geared towards other Muslims that's coming to these places to do something to another Muslim. But when you preach the message about trying to put a stop to this and quit promoting this, or no, we not going to talk about this because these other 15 Muslims, they love that life. They don't want to leave it. They glorify it. And they think that them being Muslim is a beautiful part of that. Or I'm in a life that I can get checked out. I can get killed. I can get caught and do a bunch of fair time. So let me be Muslim so that Allah save me from that. Muslims coming to the masjid to do 2 rakats for Allah to keep them safe so they could go do a drug deal. I knew a Muslim man that used to break in houses and rob houses and stuff, right? Even while people in it. And they had a crew. And some, they ended up getting caught. And wallahi, one of the Muslims who ended up not getting caught with me telling me, I feel like the reason why I didn't get caught with them, or, basically one of them even went up in the house and it went left and had to kill everybody in the house. But he didn't know a little kid was in there. The little kid like hid in the closet or something. And the little kid seen him and seen everything and managed to jump out of the window. But when the little kid jumped out the window, he made like a noise when he hit the ground. So the guy done killed the little kid, mother and father. When he runs to the window, he see the little kid getting up and running down the street. So he come up out of the house to chase the little kid down the street, but the little kid got away. The little kid pointed him out and dude got life. So one of the person who was with them that was Muslim, like, man, the reason why I feel like I ain't get caught or it didn't go left like that for me is because I made 2 rakats before I went in. Before we ran up in the house. Allah keep me safe while I run up in here with these guns and rob these people. But you don't pray 5 times a day. Man, reason why I was able to go back and forth to Chicago and be successful with my drug runs, because I make 2 rakats every time I go and 2 rakats when I get back. This is the mindset of the Muslims. And these people who I'm sitting down talking to and having conversations, these ain't stories I'm hearing. Wallahi, these people that I'm talking to and having conversations with, like, you need to be knocked upside your head, man. You're deening backwards. You're deening for the dunya. When do you just jump up and say, man, let me make 2 rakats for Allah to allow me to get into Jannah? No, you never did that. You do 2 rakats for Allah to allow you to be successful in crime. Then when you end up getting caught and something do happen and you end up in jail, you feel betrayed by Allah. Now you don't want to pray. Now you're mad at Allah, so you don't want to pray Fajr and stuff. This is the type of Islam that's being promoted. Now when you get these people accepting Islam, they in a gang, they Muslim. Now they shooting and looking for each other at the Eid and Jumu'ah service. And you got all these old heads who always trying to OG somebody. Yeah, man, let me come school the youngest, man. I've been in jail. I was a gang member. I was wild. Your type of wild ain't what I was. Always trying to OG the youngins. But then when somebody step up and say, hey man, why you didn't take that blunt out of his hand? Why you sit up there and watch him roll that wheel? Oh, no, I ain't gonna talk. Well, why are you trying to OG them for it? Man, well, you know the youngest, man, they listen to me, man. I got my arm around. They don't listen to you. They just let you talk. They wish you shut up. Because you ain't doing nothing but telling them that you used to be more ignorant than they are right now. They don't want to hear that. You're not trying to stop them from being ignorant. Oh yeah, man, I used to be just as ignorant as you. When I was young, I probably was worse than what you... So what? Get that man some hadiths. Get that man some deen. Sit that man down, educate him Islamically so he could change his life. But you can't. Because you don't know nothing for real. That's why you want to sit around and talk old war stories and about how you was a stupid idiot too. And don't nobody like nothing to say nothing about it because they guilty. They guilty. Alhamdulillah, man, that his plans was foiled and Allah didn't allow for that man. Because I'm talking about it was a big gun, man. He definitely would have tore something up. And, you know, a lot of these young kids, the way they be shooting and they got these big guns and they be having these guns with these switches and stuff on them, they can't handle them. And that's why they just end up killing other people. You know, the little kickback and all that can't really handle the guns and be shooting the wrong people and little kids. It's crazy, man. Look what we bring into the deen. This is our ignorance before Islam. We bringing it to the deen. It's a video. This happened in Chicago a few days ago, a little while ago. 13-year-old kid. It just happened to get caught with somebody's Ring camera. And I'm looking in the comments, you know, and you can see some of these young guys who are out in the streets, they don't really understand crime. So in the video, it's 4 boys and they walking. So one of the boys start to run ahead of them. And once he start to run ahead in front of them, the other one who's standing next to the other boy just shoots him in the head. But he did like this so it didn't get him good, so then he starts to run. But the person who ran up ahead of him, now all 3 of them just start shooting the boy. 13-year-old kid though, right? And I'm looking at the comments and the people just like, man, that's kind of funny how the first guy started running ahead of them like he was scared or like he was trying to get away. No, he ran ahead to make sure they killed the guy. You see what I'm saying? Because the way they formed out, he run ahead. So now once the dude shoot him and he try to run straight, he's going to kill. He going to run into his bullets. Then the other one who was on the side of him, he come over. It was like they formed a triangle. So now if he try to run this way, now he running into the bullets from this one. And then the only other way for him to run was a fence. So the dude ended. So now all of them just shooting him. And then the first one who shot him, tried to shoot him in the head, stands over him and shoot the boy. Right? But it was all caught on the Ring camera in Chicago, but they was all friends. They backdoored him, and the people in the comments, some people glorified it. Like this was some cool stuff. And when you know, like me, being in Illinois, and like a lot of the times when we would be in Chicago, and just the backdoor stuff, man, has been a thing, man, like ever since I was a little kid. It just was happening different. But my point is, people was glorifying it. And you know, I did make a comment and I was just like, I really hate us sometimes. I hate us, man. He was 13 and them kids was just as young as him. All of them friends. I said I hate us sometimes, but I gotta be honest. They didn't do him like that for nothing. They didn't just do that to him just because. He did something, and they had it all planned. And this been a thing in Illinois, man, for years. I even try to think back to see how young was I when I seen the first backdoor murder incident. I done seen people backdoor their homies and get them whooped. But I remember, man, as a kid, man, it was this guy, his name was Tuck. You know, Tuck was a real smooth guy, man, basketball guy. But he was a hustler too in the streets though, right? And Tuck was hustling with some guys, and he had a $500 pack. Tuck smoked up most of the pack. Tuck came around to our side of town. He was in the opposite gang that we was in, but I'm still a kid. But I had an uncle who was in his same gang, so Tuck came to our side of town to start to get the money back up so that he could pay his guys that he was getting money with, that he had smoked the dope up with. That, you know, he wanted to get them their money back. So, you know, he was on our side of the town. You know, we was cool with Tuck. Tuck was a real big old guy. So probably about a year had passed. They sat on it just to wait for Tuck to forget about it. And then they figured out this girl who Tuck liked. Tuck chilling with the girl. They catch him over there, get him drunk, get him high. Took him to the hotel where they had some other girls lined up. He go to the hotel. They kicking it with all these girls. Steady smoking, steady drinking, eating pizza and hot wings from KFC and all of that. And then after they got him good and drunk and let him mess with some girls and, you know, call his mom, you know, Mom, I love you, I'm gonna come see you tomorrow. And then when they left for them to give him a ride, they took him somewhere and killed him. But they was all three best friends. Over $500. But they was getting money. But when they killed him and shot him up, and they even tried to tie him up because he was a real big guy, and they threw him in a ditch. He was so big and strong, he got up out of the ropes and climbed up into the street. He came up out the ditch and climbed up in the street, and some cars was driving past and seen him and seen all the blood on him. So when they called the police, and when the police and the ambulance got there, he lived long enough to tell what they did to him and who it was. And they gave these dudes, I'm talking about, this was so long ago, they gave them dudes so much time, and they was all still young. They was like 22. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was just in their early 20s. Man, them dudes went and did about 35 years. That's what I'm saying. I was a kid when it happened, but this was a thing. And now, what I'm starting to see, that's what they call the back door. Like I said, in Illinois and Chicago, they might backdoor you and get you whooped where your own homies will whoop you, and then it turned into killing. Your own friends killing you. Or setting you up to get killed by somebody else. And now, guess where I'm starting to see it at? With the Muslims. Where you have Muslims backdooring other Muslims that they friend with. It's in Chicago. I know of some particular incidents. Okay? And it's going to start to spread. If these people who out here trying to OG all the youngins and giving them misinformation about what Islam is about, preaching this old Kevin Gates, Little Dirk, Sauce Walker version of Islam, this old rap style version of Islam, first and foremost, them dudes got millions of dollars to burn. You got these young little Muslim cats out here. They can't go get jobs because they got too much beef in the streets. So they got to figure out the way to have money, but they trying to live like these $1 million Muslim dudes who still in the streets, still getting drunk and high and all of that. And this is problematic, man. And like I said, even with the dude who had the AR-15 out in the comments, the Philly people arguing with each other because other people was talking about how they need to take accountability, and other even Muslims in Philly, and they sitting up talking about, well, look at you got your earrings sticking out of your hijab. Who is you to talk? That's why I'm in Philly. That's why I hate the Muslims here. They don't have no real tawheed. They just know how to dress up. I mean, the comments was going crazy. But you could see from the comments, if some of these people in the comments, because some of them was in Philly arguing with each other, right? If they bump into each other, something might transpire just from the arguments in the comments over whatever went on. I don't know if he was Muslim. Some people said he was Muslim. Some people said he wasn't. But he was coming to kill another Muslim that did something. The man was walking down the street with a big army gun. He wasn't even trying to get away. You got to be mad to do that. Or you got to be crazy on some drugs. That meant whoever he was after did something. Not saying he deserved it, but that's just from our culture. Somebody did something, man. And I want to take a split second, man, to speak about some of the principles, some of the lightweight principles of Islam, because we've lost the tenets. Like in Islam, when you take your shahada and that's your covenant, let's look at what Islam really teach us, right? 1, feed the poor. Even if we poor. This is from the tenets of Islam. 2, no killing. You can't kill, especially over stuff that's not even worth the argument. If it's something that's legislated, things like that, that's a different story. But you ain't supposed to kill nobody. You can't just jump up and go to the club, you drunk, they drunk, y'all get to arguing over a pool game, or y'all done bumped into each other inside of the club and y'all both super intoxicated. You might be Muslim, they might be Muslim. And then y'all step outside to throw hands, and then one of y'all end up dead. All over some words. Islam, the real teachings and the tenet of Islam, keeps you from ending up in those type of situations. Right? You can't even, you held accountable if you went to bed with a full stomach and your neighbor starved. Right? Even when you look at number 3. I'm going to put in here number 3. No intoxicants. Nothing that intoxicates you. Alcohol, pills, powder, marijuana. No intoxicants. Just feeding the poor. No unjustifiable killing. No intoxicants. Just these 3 things right here. Just imagine if we upheld these tenets as a whole. Right now with these young Muslims, we're not even trying to stop them from killing and dealing with intoxicants. That's between them and Allah. 4. Be married. Faithful. take care of family. This is what Islam teaches us. A lot of these times, a lot of these fights, a lot of this stuff start off, one, if it ain't some little young high heads showing out for some girls that's watching, it's over a girl that's talking and messing with more than one person. But if we practice the basic tenets of Islam, we wouldn't be involved in none of that. A lot of this, all these kids with all these broken families, because of our marriages and different things, we still be acting like Kafirs. So the father leave, or the father is forced out. Sometimes the father is forced out. Sometimes we just gonna be real. I don't care how many females try to get offended. We gonna be real. Sometimes mothers stop the fathers from being in a kid life, man. We not gonna act like they don't do that. Fathers who really want to be in a kid's life lie, get restraining orders on them, and then they have to make up a bunch of lies just to get the restraining order. But Islam go against all that. Now keep in mind what I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about Muslims that partake in the opposite of all of this. But this is what Islam teaches us. If we all stuck together and really helped the poor and helped with their bills and really stuck together, you would have some Muslims who not committing crimes just to eat or pay some bills. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't have Muslims trying to shoot up the Eid and kill another Muslim that done robbed them or did something, mess with their sister or their girlfriend, and all this other weird stuff. See, we know Shahada, pray, fasting, right? Hajj, right? Zakat. But we don't know how to feed the poor and stuff like we should. We don't know how to talk to these young cats. We just want to talk to you and get you to take your Shahada and put it on video or walk around our cities talking about, yeah, man, I got such and such. I brought 5 Shahadas in. Okay, alhamdulillah, you brought 5 people to take Shahada. How many of them did you teach Islam? How many of them did you teach them these tenets? How many of them did you teach these tenets? Look at it. Even 5. No argument without rectification. Even when you argue with another Muslim, y'all gotta resolve that within 72 hours, or none of y'all deeds is accepted. Then when y'all ain't even really supposed to be arguing about nothing unless it goes against the Deen of Islam, like one of them doing some bid'ah, or one of them lying about the Deen, or one of them still want to be a gang-banging murderer, and even Muslims can get it. And you trying to get him the hawk. But if we exercise these tenets, like I said, we get mad at the ones who speak out against this and really talk to the youngers and try to change them. But too many of us want to feel like OGs and the old head of the community, and yeah, man, all these youngers crazy about me, man, they listen to me. No, they don't. No, they don't. Because for one, you're not talking about nothing. You don't know how to talk about Deen, or that we teaching them, stay away from this masjid. If these girls don't wear this and they don't wear that, stay away from this teacher. And just lying and keeping up enmity. They teaching hatred. Especially when it's attached to a misunderstanding that they have. spreading false information. And bogus backbiting. Huh? These is from the tenets of our deen. To stay away from these things. 7. Speaking without knowledge. Huh? Speaking without knowledge. Islam teaches us how to avoid all of these things. But because we don't avoid it, because the basis of our deen is know how to pray, know how to fast, and just talk. When you take your shahada, you making a covenant to follow and abide by all of this stuff that's involved in the deen. This stuff is supposed to be a part of your life, a part of your way of life. Then we not even including the religion aspect of it. What's from the religion? You're fasting, you're praying, you're reading your Quran, trying to memorize it. We talking about how you're supposed to live your life, your deen. You got Muslims who's married, they in the house fighting. During Ramadan, they in the house fighting. Violating all the rules and regulations that a Muslim has certain rights with other Muslims, and they violate them just because they married. And look what it's becoming. 8. Build. Right? Build societies, communities, under Islamic law, regulations, deen. We don't do it. We don't do it. 9. Enjoying good for being evil. 10. Call to Jannah and away from the hellfire. How you gonna be a Muslim with sincerity and you sit up and see another Muslim brother who you may look at him like, okay, well, he a new Muslim. Man, this boy been Muslim 15 years, 20 years. This boy was born Muslim. Now he's 30. Now he's 35. He was born Muslim. And you see him on the path to hellfire and your mouth is, oh, well, I ain't going to say nothing. That's between him and Allah. You're supposed to call to Jannah and away from the hellfire. How you going to just leave him there? And then know he's a bad influence to younger Muslims that's up under him because he trying to OG them. He keeping them in the streets. He keeping them hooked on pills. He keeping them hooked on marijuana. He keeping them listening to music about death, about murder, killing yourself, ODing on drugs, killing your girlfriend, killing your boyfriend, your husband, doing a bunch of cheating. Music about all of this, and then want to sit around and debate about is music haram or not. But look what they listening to and look at what it's doing. What do you mean? But when we see Muslims like that, oh man, we leave them alone. We scared to say something to them because we don't want to get on them because they might leave Islam. Boy, they ain't never even entered it. They just took their shahada. What the Quran tell us from the religion? Enter into Islam wholeheartedly, with your whole heart, and then istiqamu, be upright. We discussing deen, but that's from the religion. They ain't even entered it. They just took their shahada. We just told them what to say and they repeated it. They don't even know who Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. Some people take their shahada, and I'm saying this because I've seen it. I done seen people take their shahada, and when they was discussing the Muhammad part of it, they testify that Muhammad is Allah's last messenger. It was some people who did that and said that and thought they was talking about Elijah Muhammad, man. When they was talking about Prophet Muhammad, they thought it was talking about Elijah Muhammad, man. Because somebody sit around and just told them what to say, see? You know what I'm saying? I remember it was a brother who came to the masjid from Chicago. He still had that street in him, and he wanted to take his shahada. So I was sitting up talking to him about the deen, and I made it clear to him, you know this ain't no Nation of Islam stuff, right? This Islam. And you know, people was in there doing this. Come on, man. You don't have to talk about that. No, you do. You're supposed to make sure that they got an understanding and know what they enter into. Y'all just want to have a whole bunch of Muslims in numbers, but then when these people that y'all feel like y'all bringing in start destroying the deen, not wanting to follow the sunnah, teaching other people not to follow the sunnah, teaching that the sunnah and different things from the Quran and sunnah is Arab stuff, corrupting the Islam. These same people that you feel like you brought because you feel like it make you look like an OG to the community, now they corrupting everybody and you don't want to say nothing because they might leave Islam. Fool, they ruining it. And you not going to say nothing and have a whole attitude when somebody does. That's the opposite of what Islam teach us, man. But, man, let me go ahead and get to what I got to do, man. But we need to keep in mind, you have Muslims who taking their shahada, they don't know they supposed to feed the poor. They don't even know that they not supposed to be sitting around unnecessarily killing over some gang beef, or this one killed that one a long time ago and we still at war. I want my lick back. I don't care if they is Muslim. I don't care if I catch them at the masjid. I don't care if I catch them at the Eid. I don't care if we had to set him up and backdoor him. They don't know they can't do none of that. They don't know that they can't be dealing with no intoxicants. So they still drinking, still smoking weed, still popping pills, still, instead of tooting powder, now in Chicago it's a major thing where they crunching up Percocets and snorting them. Popping the pills ain't good enough. So you know what's going to come next. Now they going to start crushing them up, mixing it with a little water and shoot it up their vein. That's what's going to come next. Because every single thing that start in a form, it always graduate up to what cocaine and heroin did. They figure out a way to smoke it. Then they first figure out a way to smoke it or to snort it. Then when that ain't strong enough, they figure out something else. Then when that ain't strong enough, they figure out a way to start shooting it up their veins. And then they be Muslim. Sitting around a bunch of OGs and old X-Street OGs who still ain't got enough sense to tell them not to be that way. Oh man, I don't want to tell them to change. I don't want to tell them that they can't be sitting around fornicating. Don't know that they supposed to be married. I don't want to sit around and tell them that because they might leave Islam. Dude, they ain't never even entered it. So these OGs and these, oh man, the shorties love me. No, they don't. You in the way. Y'all in the way. You know what I'm saying? Then you can't teach them nothing, can't give them nothing. And then they get some women in their life who still love that street stuff, and then they corrupt them sisters, man. It's a vicious cycle. And we bringing that same garbage from the street to the Dean of Islam. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.